Luke chapter 4, verses 16 through 21. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as was his custom, he entered the synagogue on the Sabbath and stood up to read. And the scroll of Isaiah the prophet was handed to him. And he unrolled the scroll and found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, to proclaim the favorable year of the Lord." And he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. And the eyes of all the people in the synagogue were intently directed at him. Now he began to say to them, "Today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." And all the people were speaking well of him and admiring the gracious words which were coming from his lips. And yet they were saying, "Is this not Joseph's son?" Today I'm tasked with expounding on the thought of Jesus fulfilling the scripture. But there was something that really stuck out in the very first verse of this passage that just wouldn't leave me alone. Verse 16, it says, "And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as was his custom, he entered the synagogue on the Sabbath and stood up to read." There it is. That phrase that's wedged right in the middle of the verse. As was his custom. Now don't miss this, friends. I believe that Jesus was able to fulfill his purpose of fulfilling the scripture, watch this, because he understood the power of routine. Jesus was routinely committed to prayer. Jesus was routinely committed to fellowship. Jesus was routinely committed to going to the temple. Jesus was routinely committed to reading the law and the prophets. My question to you is, what are you routinely committed to? Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that we should be led by the Spirit of God. But I don't believe that being Spirit-led and committed to a routine work independently from one another. I actually think they work in harmony with each other. For it is in the midst of the mundane that you just might discover that you are indeed fulfilling the God-given purpose for your life. Be blessed.